efforts to solve the problem of whether or not to legalize medicinal marijuana began as far back as 1937. Congress passed the Marijuana Tax Act, which effectively criminalized marijuana. In 1952, 1956, the Boggs Act, the Narcotics Control Act, were both federal laws which set mandatory sentences for drug-related offenses, including marijuana. The first offense, marijuana possession, carried a minimum sentence of 2 to 10 years with a $20,000 fine. Conservative parents groups soon began lobbying for stricter regulation of marijuana and the prevention of drug use by teenagers. Some of these groups had the support of the DEA and the National Institute of Drug Abuse, and eventually led to the 1980s War on Drugs. In 1986, President Reagan signed the Anti-Drug Abuse Act, began mandatory sentences for drug-related offenses, along with the Comprehensive Crime Control Act of 1984. This new law raised federal penalties for marijuana possession and dealing, based the penalties on the amount of the drug involved. Possession of 100 marijuana plants received the same penalty as possession of 100 grams of heroin. President Bush declared a new war on drugs in 1989. 1996, California passed the Compassionate Use Act, and since then, more states have moved to legalize medical marijuana, and consequently, states are beginning to legalize the use of recreational marijuana. Over time, law enforcement, parents, and medical professionals have created various clubs and organizations on the state and national levels to argue against the legalization of medical and recreational marijuana. Prior efforts to solve the problem include federal criminal prosecution, civil liability, or professional sanctioning, such as loss of licensure or credentialing for physicians who prescribe or dispense medical marijuana in accordance with state's law. Patients who use medical marijuana as permitted under state law have faced criminal or civil penalties.